Alright, we're going to end the new year and then start the new year with the part 2 of this. But we wanted to do lots of reviews for anniversary years last year. That didn't work out as well. We did like a couple. And this year didn't happen, so we thought we'd just group them all in. So right now we're doing the movies for the years of 1983 and 1988. Then we'll do 93 and 98 because there's a lot of big, great movies we enjoy. And that I really enjoy. And we figured we'd say festive with some Slave Leia, Princess Leia, themed with Elsa. We have shirts of, so I have shirts of that, so I figured perfect theming for this. Because 83, 10 of our favorites are a 10 list, but I'm not going to have them in any order. I mean, we could, but I feel like, there's not going to be an order. It's just going to be like probably choosing 10 of the favorites, then we'll mention other ones that were liked. Or ones, but, well, let's just get it going. Also, how y'all doing, by the way? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
See? A Happy New Year here. Alright. So I guess we'll start off with 1983. We'll start off with Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. So that's... I like that film. I know everyone likes to say bad things about it, but that was the one I think I enjoyed and watched most growing up as a kid. I didn't really watch Star Wars as much. It was more of like when it was on TV, because, you couldn't see it in theaters since, not born yet for any of them. So we just saw them on TV, maybe passing, but I feel like then you saw the ones when they re-released them in theaters in 96 with all that new stuff, but it was still neat to see them. Yeah. But I like the Ewoks. I like the opening scene. It's so memorable when they go into Jabba's palace and all that stuff there. It's so good. I mean, and then Leia in the outfit. Everyone likes that, especially when you're a young kid. But mostly it's just that opening scene is so cool. And I like the whole thing with Vader changing and stepping up at the end. Again, the Ewoks, I enjoy I thought the Ewoks were cute in that movie. So I always enjoyed them. I don't know, I always enjoyed Jedi as my favorite of the three films for me. The original three.
Yeah, I like the third movie, and I'm not a big fan of all the changes they did when they re-released them and stuff like that. But I still think it's a good movie, and I feel like I don't know why it's so hated so much, but it's a really enjoyable movie. I find the Ewoks cute and adorable. I don't find them very annoying. And I overall really enjoyed the movie.
So yeah, Return of the Jedi. I mean, all three films are actually... There's a reason why they're so iconic. They're really good films. And then I also have the prequels, but then we don't talk about the Disney ones. But anyway, on to the next stuff. Well, with it being Christmas time, I guess Christmas Story, which I can't believe. It's just one of those things where it's like, I guess Star Wars made sense, but Christmas Story is 40 years old?
Isn't that crazy?
Wow, and it's like, that's always one of those ones there where I remember growing up, for me, it was one of those things where we did watch the 24 Hours of Christmas Story, and I don't know if it's because of being a kid, and you watched that at that time. For me and my family, I remember, like, visiting relatives in other states when it's snowing and all that neat memories and stuff. I can still remember watching those and everything. To this day, we still watch it. It's one of those ones where I think I've watched that more than, like, any other movie just because of the fact you have, like, growing up,
24 hours.
Watching that. Yeah. And not only that, we'd watch it even when it isn't Christmas, when it's 24 hours of it, we watch it during November and December, or sometimes even just whatever. But it's a good story. I just think it's one of those, it's just a nice, simple, kind of innocent, good story about just a kid wanting that BB gun. And then it's just, all the characters are just so... it's like it's like what before, like, I think probably Doug got influenced. Because I was like Doug, Nickelodeon, Disney Doug, where he'd have those wild imaginations. This movie, that kid just goes into these little wild imaginations. I love those type of stories where they have these fantastical fantasies.
Yeah.
And it's just so over the top and funny. And then you have all the memorable scenes. Ho, 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 shoot your eye out, kid. I love the Santa Claus to this day. Just always gets me. Just that, with his boot, he just taps him on the head and he slides down. And it's like, damn.
Yeah.
But the dad, the mom, everyone, it's just such a good... The boys, the group of kids, everyone knows, whether they're a fan of it or not, everyone knows, like, all the iconic moments and dialogue. It's quotable. Pretty much every scene is memorable. And it's just a very good Christmas movie. Just a good movie in general.
Yeah, I remember when I was little, they used to play it at our Christmas parties in school. It is a very iconic movie. It's something the whole family can enjoy. I feel like they captured the essence of what it's like to be a kid. And so it's relatable to children, but it's also relatable to adults.
In that time period, too. They do it so well.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. And I don't know who hasn't ever seen it, but if you haven't, you should definitely check it out because it's a great film.
And then speaking of Christmas out there, I know it's not really a movie, but Mickey's Christmas Carol also turns 40 this year. It was kind of hard putting together something for 83 for some reason. But Mickey's Christmas Carol, it's great. I believe it was the last time the original guy doing Donald Duck did Donald Duck's voice. And the animation's really good. It's the first, I believe, also animated time where Alan Young does the voice of Scrooge McDuck. And I mean, who doesn't love Scrooge McDuck? His voice is perfect for it. It's like whenever I watch it, it's one of those things. Whenever I watch anything else with him in it, like if I watch Mr. Ed and he talks, I'm like, hey, it's Scrooge McDuck. If I watch The Time Machine or anything like this, I'm like, hey, it's Scrooge McDuck. It's like when I watch, because growing up with like Hades, you know, it's like, hey, I hear James Woods talking anything, the first thing I think of is Hades. But it's so good. The animation, I love all the characters, the music. It always brings a tear to my eye at the end of it, because it just, I love that "Oh, What a Merry Christmas Day" song throughout, and the music. It's deep, it's emotional. I tear up every time. It's that happy little ending. And I love the animation, all the characters. I love the use of all the different Disney characters thrown in for ghosts and Fezziwig and crap like that.
Yeah, it is definitely a sweet story, and even though they, shortened the book into just like a half an hour?
Mm-hmm. Like 25, 26 minutes.
I thought they captured the essence of the story very well, and it's a good use of the characters in animation. They didn't like cheap it out just because it was just, a Christmas Carol or a short little film. It's actually a really good film, and it's something you can watch every year if you like with your family.
It's in there with the best Christmas carols for sure. Next up, also 40 years old. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but a lot of these 40-year ones, they're just, I mean, it makes sense if it's 83, but still. I always enjoyed it. Dad enjoying all those old comedies and stuff like that there. I know you haven't seen it much times, but it's the best one. I never wants to say it's the Christmas one. That'll be next year's anniversary year. I still think the original is the best, but the National Lampoon's Vacation movie, Chevy Chase and his family and all that stuff there, just all the crap they go through to go to Wally World. And again, I love that you got John Candy in there at the end as a cameo. It's out there. It's funny. It's goofy. You feel for it, especially when he gets with his trailer type family. Cousin Eddie is pretty funny. I mean, and then you get like some of the sexier moments. So as a kid, that was always something enjoyable again. And it's just funny, all the crazy crap they go through just to get to that, basically Walt Disney World. And then when they get there, it's closed. Spoilers. But it's a good, funny, classic film. And wish we would have got to see that in theaters when they had it released this year. We missed out on something. We got to see a lot of other ones, though. But it's a good movie. It's got some good messaging in it, too. But it's just really funny and really well done. Good cast of characters. Great comedians.
Yeah, I didn't really grow up with the movie, but as an adult, I can definitely appreciate it. I can see why it's an iconic film and what launched the whole series of the vacation movies. So,
for the most part, they're pretty good.
Well, yeah.
At least in some way.
I mean, people say the Christmas one isn't even really a vacation movie, but overall, I think the series is really well, and this is a great one to start you off into the vacation movies, and it's a good film.
Big fan of the Twilight Zone series. One of my favorite, probably if not the best anthology series. So many great things there, and it's New Year's Eve and everything. And usually, Sci-Fi I don't know if they still do. I can't remember if they did last year or before, but I always loved looking in when they had like the episodes on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and then they did it on the 4th of July too. But the Twilight Zone movie, really good movie. I mean, I just love the special effects on that, like the gremlin. At the end of the movie, when he's on the plane doing that segment, the gremlin is freaking scary looking. It's like demonic and creepy, more so than just the guy in the little furry suit. Sure, we don't have William Shatner, but, this thing is creepy as hell. Then the segment where the kid and his family making them like, oh, well, we'll do whatever you want. Don't make him angry. And then they had these creepy things there where it's like sewn his sister's mouth shut or something, or wiped out her mouth. And then there's like the stuff there where like this creepy demonic cartoons and the cartoon rabbit is like this creepy thing that pops out of TV, this animatronic looking thing, and then it gets more demonic looking as it goes through. It was disturbing stuff at the beginning where Dan Aykroyd's the little ambulance guy there. It's like, you want to see something really scary? And well, that's the ending. But at the beginning, with his friend, he does that, and then he goes all, and it's there's some scary stuff in there. And in the first segment, with the guy going back in time, and then we all know the sad story behind that. Rest in peace to all of them. And I really like the old. I know a lot of people probably say it's their least favorite segment. It's the most boring one, but I like that one there with the old people turning back and being kids again. I like that. So I think that's probably my favorite, if not for the last one with there's a gremlin on the wing. But they did a very good job. What was it? A collaboration between Spielberg and I forgot who else too. But it was just actually a good movie with a good cast of people and good stories. I think they selected for that film.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good anthology series movie. And I thought they captured the essence of the Twilight Zone, and they really had good effects in the movie. Again, if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out.
And then to round it up, last thing here, just for some other ones there, because I don't know. I know he hasn't seen them, but I would throw in The Outsiders. I really enjoyed the book, and the movie is really good, great cast, and just it really gets you. Trading Places, also a very good movie that came out that year. Psycho 2. Surprisingly enough, when I found out about the other Psycho movies, I saw on TV and I really liked it, but we all know Psycho. Psycho 2 is really good. Mausoleum, I know we've seen that one there. That's the one where it's that lady as a young girl and then she gets possessed or whatever and all that stuff there. Pretty good, pretty decent, some good stuff in there. And then we saw this in theater and we just heard about it when they do these old grindhouse retro type of things, like they were showing previews of Rock and Roll High School, and we missed Reanimator, so hopefully they do that again. But Angel, where was that girl who's like the high school girl going around as a prostitute and all that stuff there, and then there's someone out there killing them and all that. Good story. I liked the guy that was the mother to them, the guy in drag or whatever, yes, being the mother to them. Funny, good character, good story, well acted, and just a very gets to you kind of story. And then Crawl, remember we saw that a couple years back when Rift Tracks did it in theaters, and that was still an interesting movie. Even with I don't know how it would be without Rift Tracks, but yeah, it was still pretty entertaining. So I guess let's move on to 1988.
Let's do it.
Now we're in 1988. Ooh, the Elsa shirts may be gone, but her essence still lives on. We might there might be snow in here. I don't know. But next year we got Samus, Zero Suit Samus doing Iron Man, and then Night of the Living Donuts. Just because there's a lot of horror this year. Great horror. Now, see, this is the one where I decided I don't know how I want to go with the top 10 by actually ranking them. Because there's a lot that I feel like I would put at 1. So they all can't be 1. But let's start things off with, I guess let's start off the show with It's Showtime. Beetlejuice. So Tim Burton's Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton I love the fact that it's another one of those ones where he's like barely in it type of thing. And he's like, that remembered stuff there. I love those type of characters where it's like, it's Beetlejuice, but then he's like, he doesn't have as much screen time as you would think. It's like when you think of the Dark Knight's Joker. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? That movie's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And all I remember is just loving him as the Joker, Heath Ledger. And it's like, what? His screen time was so, small compared to everything else.
Yeah.
Or, like the beloved Elsa from Frozen. She didn't have as much screen time in the first one. They did better in the second one, though, because, come on. But Beetlejuice. Anyway, great film. I just love Tim Burton's stuff. Like, his style, the design, the scariness, the coolness, the quirkiness, the silliness, just everything about it. I love all the characters, Lydia, the parents. Everybody's just great in that movie. And yeah, Beetlejuice. I don't see how you can, I don't know how you cannot like Beetlejuice. I don't know how I feel about the second one coming up. But the first one,
Yeah, I remember falling in love with it as a kid, and I still love it today. It's a great movie. They have great effects. You can watch it even nowadays, even though it may feel like a product of its time. It's a beautiful film.
And then I love the TV, the little cartoon animated show. Great one too. I remember watching that back in the day. Next up, Elvira. You know, it's like her movie, Elvira. I mean, it's Elvira. I mean, what was great too is, you know, back in the day, that was one of those safer ones there where you got the sexy lady to watch, big bahoogies, and you know, but it wasn't just that. You know, she's smart, she's very funny, and I would say definitely deserves to be up there with, like, you know, the other greats doing the hosting stuff like Swengoolie and all that stuff. So she's great, she's funny, entertaining little story. I love all the jokes. A lot of the stuff is roll your eyes type stuff there, but it's funny. You know, not just like the innuendos and anything. I like the dog. I like the weird little, it was gross, but the little creature thing. And then just all like, it's funny going to the town and then doing that acceptance with the inheritance in the building. Just like, I like how they wish they would have done more of that pilot. The pilot was really cool for the show.
Yes.
I wish they kind of did that, but then that ended up becoming Sabrina the Teenage Witch in 1996. So, well.
Yeah.
But another great movie, just entertaining for the time, and I'm glad he still hasn't seen the second one. But there's still plenty of like stuff out there with her, and that's just a nice little movie, great thing for the 80s.
Well, definitely it was a great film. I didn't get to really watch it until an adult, but it is a good film. You should definitely check it out.
And as I said about horror movies, so we'll go real quick on this, Child's Play. The very first Chucky. Now, Chucky was one that I remember back in the day. I wasn't, you know, I was more into Michael Myers, not so much Jason, but really I was more of a Halloween guy and sort of a slash Freddy guy. But never too much for Chucky. Then didn't watch Chucky until more adult. And they're all just great. I love the fact that it's still going. I love the fact that they got a show. May it keep going and just being really good. I love everything about it. I liked when it got silly. I like Seed of Chucky. But Child's Play, that first one, is the best one. It's actually very scary. It's very well done. It's creepy. And I think the good story and the backstory and the origin for, you know, Chucky and everything. I love everything about it with the family. Andy, the cop, played by Chris Sarandon. Just very good movie. I love the music. Everything about it. It is a very good, scary horror. Even when they go to more comedy, this one is like, ooh, it just chills when you see, especially when he goes from, like, the scene where she's gonna, you know, like, the mom's like, just, come on, you know. So, like, if you don't, I'll throw you in the fireplace. And you go from that, like, quickly to animatronic face. It's freaking scary.
Yeah.
To sit there and hold that doll, and it's all, you stupid bitch, I'm gonna, like, you would freak out. You throw him in there and he's still alive and he's a melted, burned thing. Holy crap. Great film.
Yeah, I didn't get to really watch it as a kid either. I feel like over the years I was more into, you know, like he said, Freddy, Jason, all that stuff. But I'm glad I was able to get into the series, because the series is really good, and this is a really good way to start off a franchise. And
damn good.
And I mean, if I wanted to saw as a kid, this is a good way to scare a kid, because the idea of your toy trying to kill you and the main character being a kid and all that stuff is kind of relatable, and that would really freak you out as a kid to think that your beloved toy, or, you know, a gift given to you, is out to kill you.
It's not like Toy Story with a different Andy. You know, I never thought about that.
I never did either.
I wonder if that's why they named him Andy for Toy Story, just for as a little. Anyway, Hellraiser 2. I still, to this day, I don't know what it is, but I think the Hellraiser movies, the first two, but then as we watched it over the years more, I feel like the third one is also, it doesn't have that same production quality, obviously. It seems more of that lower budget, sadly. But the third one is really freaking good, too. Holy shit. And, but the first two, damn. And Hellraiser 2 just taken to that next level. I like the continuation. It's grotesque. It's disturbing. It's what a horror I think should be. Clive Barker, dear God, that guy's mind. You know, holy crap. I mean, it's hellish.
Yeah.
And it is great. Pinhead, I love Pinhead. I love this one because I like, the only downside is I like that it was an ending. Because I like how, you know, Pinhead remembers stuff there and he goes back.
Yes.
What ifs there. Turns back, remembers, turns good, they help to save the day. And I just like the whole thing where they're inside there and there's the box and scary, and then the one lady comes back and it's like, great film. I don't know, Hellraiser, like Chucky. I feel like Chucky, Child's Play, Hellraiser definitely should be up in there with the Holy Trinity, Unholy Trinity.
Yeah, I think the second Hellraiser is almost on par with the first one because it feels like they go perfectly together.
They're perfect. They're a perfect 1 and 2. Like, because again, it's a direct sequel. It tells where it's left off, and it kind of like that. You know how it ends kind of nicely. Mm-hmm. So it feels like it's beginning and end. So
yeah, and I like that they didn't like lower the quality of the special effects and stuff like that, and then they added more to it. To the lore.
Yeah, it got more fantastical too. Holy crap.
Well, yeah. So it's a great movie. You should definitely check it out, especially if you like the first Hellraiser.
Or, I don't know, just go check it out for good horror, basically.
It is a sequel, but
I it's very...
watch it by itself.
The Hellraiser series are definitely, something you gotta watch out for the content, matter, but good. We'll skip horror and go kind of a more safer horror, but probably my second favorite ScoobyDoo movie, well, the animated stuff, obviously, ScoobyDoo and the Reluctant Werewolf. I love that one. I always liked that one as a kid. I didn't mind Scrappy-Doo. I liked Scrappy-Doo. I liked the ones where it was just Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy in the movies. They had like those 3 movies. All of them are great. Ghoul School and the Boo Brothers. And I just like that it was like weird. Like Shaggy's doing racing, and he's got this girl named Googie. Such a silly name, but she's so cute. And she's like, very supportive of him. So you're like, oh, look at that, good job for Shaggy. And then they go and do the stuff where they need a werewolf for, they're racing in Transylvania. So they turn into a werewolf. He has to go to Transylvania where all the other monsters are. And they have to have a race and all that stuff there. And then Dracula's trying to, make sure he loses so he stays permanently a werewolf and whatever. And I like his vampire bride lady. She's dumb, but she's very cute and sexy. So that was always fun, good design. Just hilarious stuff like the cars doing their typical. It was like Wacky Races, only horror monsters and Scooby-Doo. But loved it. Good animation. Just a fun product again of the 80s with Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it's very cartoony, but it's really good. I think, I don't know. A lot of these cartoons, I feel like as an adult, maybe because I grew up with this kind of stuff, but I feel like you can still watch it as an adult. I thought the animation was done well. The characters, the monsters that they did were really well done too. It's a cute little film, and I think it's something you can watch anytime.
One of my favorite movies, probably in my tops of all time, maybe not top 10, but top 20, 30, 50 at least. The Great Outdoors is probably my favorite John Candy movie, besides Uncle Buck, maybe. And then Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He's so good in that. He's just good in everything. And then maybe my favorite, probably, I think I was telling you, probably my favorite movie with Dan Aykroyd, even more so than Ghostbusters. But I love Great Outdoors. It's just something growing up, we had on tape, watch it all the time. Funny movie, great cast, just the families coming together, button heads, wacky stuff happening to them while they're just trying to have a family vacation during the summer. And John Candy trying to get with his sons, just spend time with them. And then, Dan Aykroyd's character is the one that gets to learn something from this, where he needs to appreciate, instead of just money and things, his family, his kids, and stuff like that. Funny movie, and it's just such a good movie. I love the talking raccoons, and the big old 96er steak, and the bear, bald on both ends. Such a good movie.
Yeah, it's definitely an iconic movie. Who doesn't like John Candy? It's a fun family movie. They did a good job with their effects, and the humor is just perfect. You really can't find another good one like that nowadays.
It's definitely a movie. Underrated, you should check it out. The Land for Time also came out there. The very first Land for Time from Don Bluth. Wish that it was still around. It was such nice competitiveness for Disney. Disney definitely needs more competitiveness now for the crap they're doing now and spitting on Walt's legacy, but that's another story. Like, they're purposely doing it, which is a shame for the 100th celebration. But The Land for a Time was such a good... I liked all the series. I watched, I think, all the way up to, maybe 8. And then they started, then there were ones... The last couple were like, come on. I still can't believe there was, 14 or 15 of them. I thought that was going to keep going on. The real never-ending story. But it's a nice little story. I love the music. It's sad. It's emotional. It's powerful. You love everyone. Littlefoot, Petrie, Ducky, Spike, Sarah. I mean, and then the Tree Stars. The thing with his mom, the Sharptooths. Just that whole journey. The music is absolutely beautiful. The animation. God, I mean, just God. It's one of the best animated films of all time. That's just all I can say.
Yeah, I remember when I was little, and I remember watching it. It is a great film, and I could see, just watching the first one, you could see why they kept making more, because it's just a beautiful film, beautiful story. It's got a nice motion and all that stuff like that. Again, I think it's another good family film, but something that the kids definitely can enjoy.
But next up, again, a lot of great horror. We have a couple of fours. A Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, holy cow. I mean, I don't know, I really like all of them but 6. I still don't like Freddy's Dead. Well, I don't count the remake as an actual film. It's garbage. But Nightmare on Elm Street 4, I believe that the Dream Master, where she takes in all the power and then all the faces at the end, just all the different stuff there. I mean, it does have one of my least favorite scenes in it, though, because I don't like the stuff with the roaches. I don't want to see them, the real ones. I don't want to see her. It's a cool effect, though.
Yes.
But it's so gruesome when the flesh starts ripping and you get those gross, roachy arms underneath and everything. But wow. But it's a great film. That's when Freddy really, Freddy was back in a ridiculous way, coming back. So stupid. But it's where he's like, Freddy, that's what everyone's like, Freddy fever, and Freddy's everywhere, and got that stardom, and become that big pop culture icon, and I just think it's a great film. I love that one there, and I love how she just takes him on at the end, goes through everything, and the Freddy films are just great. Robert Englund is he's Freddy, and no one else can be Freddy. It's one of those things where you just can't. You can't replace him. And this was just great for him when he started to get more of that sassy humor, even though it's still very... And then the creativeness of the kills and everything, and the dreams.
Yeah, I don't think they lowered the quality at all on this one. And there's great effects. I do like the idea of her taking on all the powers. I thought the story was well written, well done, and it's a great part of the franchise.
And then another 4... I know they wanted to do something different. While I do enjoy it, speaking of another number 4, speaking of another
4,
speaking of another number 4, I know they try something new, something different. I appreciate it. I love the film, but it'll be weird if you didn't have Freddy in your films anymore, or you didn't have Jason in them anymore. I get it. So when you have something like that, like, would you want to watch a Scream movie without Ghostface? Would you want to watch, you know what I'm saying? So yes, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Honestly, for me, this and the first one are the ones that constantly fight for the top spot for me. Because I get the first one, I love the first movie, I mean, duh. But the fourth one is so damn close to it. For me, Halloween... I know everyone wants to push Laurie, and she's great. Great actress. She does a good job in these movies. But for me, while growing up, I remember watching 4 and 5 a lot. And I feel like Halloween really lost something when Donald Pleasance passed away. And Dr. Loomis, I feel like, is more important than Laurie Strode. Because when you think about it, he wasn't really targeting Laurie. He was targeting all of them type of stuff there. And then Carpenter decided to come up with, like, last second and the second one, they're going to be brother and sister. Which, again, I get it, but when you're watching those movies, the first one, the second one, 4, 5, even 6, it is a lot of Loomis chasing after him, trying to stop him. So it's the whole Captain Ahab chasing Moby Dick type of thing there. It's one of those type of things there. He has to stop this thing. And I feel like that's more important. Like, say, because she didn't want to come back for, like, oh, I don't want to do any more of these type of attitudes. Which is why I also kind of, like, unless you get the good paycheck and stuff. Loomis Pleasance went on to say, I remember him talking about, he actually really embraced and loved the character of Dr. Loomis, and he, sadly he had to pass away, but he was one of those ones where it's like he could have gone on and play this character like 10 more films type of attitude, which was the opposite, for her. She had that attitude where she wasn't like that. So that's where it's kind of, but seeing him throughout these films, Donald Pleasence, I feel, is more important, and that's why I love these films so much. He's great. He's back. There's a lot of him in there, and I love when they get the little girl in there. She's a great little actress in that movie. She's great. You get a good feel for everything. You get the endangerment there. She's great. The whole town there. It ups the violence a little bit, but that's to be expected. It's the 80s. And I love the opening, how it isn't the Halloween music, the theme. It's just basically silence, and you're seeing like this old farmland and stuff. It's haunting and perfect. The whole movie, just nice characters. It's good to see Loomis going out there looking for Myers. Myers is brutal in this. He is back for what he needs to do. And I feel like this is one of the more important of the films to go with 1, 2. I feel like I enjoy these. This was a great 10th anniversary, movie. I feel more so than the one 10 years after that, where the H2O, mostly the beginning and the end is all you remember. The rest of that is boring in the middle. It's still good, but great way for an anniversary to bring back Myers. Great film. Love Donald Pleasence. I mean, Dr. Loomis, probably my favorite film character besides, like Ashley Williams or... I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going on too long for this one. Love this movie, though. Holy crap.
I could see why you like it as a contender for the first one. It is a good film, well acted, good story, and of course everyone loves Loomis. Anyone who doesn't really appreciate him or the film series.
And Peter Vincent is what I'm getting too gushy over. He was also one of those ones there where he really wanted to do with the third and all that stuff there, and I hate everyone. I hate the alignments screwed over. What could have been more Dr. Loomis and more, like a Fright Night 3. But anyway, we started this with a curvaceous Elvira, and we'll end this with someone that's also like that in this movie. Jessica Rabbit is in this film, and a film like, I don't know if anyone's heard of it, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. To this day, you can't recreate it.
No, you definitely can't.
I mean, Space Jam, and when they did the other one, the Looney Tunes Back in Action, we tried to do the live action with the cartoons. Worked very nice but they were more of... They were well done, and they were fun and funny, but this was like actual, like, very well done, just a masterpiece type. This is, like, those are good, but this is a masterpiece. This is that lightning in a bottle thing there. This is where, because it's just a great story, and it just looks good. They interact very well. I mean, everything about it. Eddie Valiant. I mean, Roger. Yeah, he's a great character. The little baby. Just everything about it. Love the little cab. The different, like, getting to get, like, seeing Mickey Mouse with Daffy Duck, and Donald Duck. These other characters together in a film. Absolutely amazing. And again, it looks great all these years later. And again, Jessica Rabbit. She's not bad. She's just drawn that way. Wowzers, especially as a kid, it was one of those things where you're like, watching it with family. But, Roger Rabbit's a lucky guy because, she looks like that, but she's good on the inside, very loyal, and everything else. And just, damn, I love, again, probably my favorite performance, Bob Hoskins for Eddie Valiant, probably more so than a movie we'll be talking about later. But great movie. It can't be recreated. It can't be. I don't see how you could do a sequel. There's no need. It's one of those ones again, like Back to the Future. Don't F with it. Stop. It's perfect the way it is. Although I do like how Disney and them are trying to cover up Jessica Rabbit because she's problematic nowadays. She was fine 35 years ago for kids. But now, but we can have like shirtless naked men all the time. But go on.
I remember watching this a lot as a kid, and it has a special place in my heart. And I think it is a great film. They did a perfect mashup, that, as you basically said, lightning in a bottle, where it can't be recreated with live action and people. And it's a part of it is just the story, how beautiful it is. But the other part is
edited well, and the music. Oh, the music too.
Acting and the animation was just spot on. And it's a great film.
Yeah, we wore that VHS out because that was one of those ones. I'm just saying, it was one of those ones where, if I remember as a kid, there's so many movies. I should do a video just talking about like all the movies because I'm like, Roger Rabbit was one I constantly remember watching. Like we mentioned, Great Outdoors, frickin' Monster Squad was just constantly on all the time. It felt like back in the days with my. Back with my sister and cousins and friends and all that stuff there growing up. Those were go-tos, and this was one of them.
Yeah, this is a great anniversary movie, and deserves more praise than I feel like it gets.
Yeah, and no more, and then don't mess with it. But yeah, that's it, 1988. So we did 83 and 88. Let's see what the next one's bring for the new year. That'll be when the new year starts. So thanks for watching. Comment below what you think of these films. What you think about some of your favorite ones from that year, ones we missed. Because right now we're going to add some honorable mentions in here real quick. Alright, we're big fans of the Phantasm series, so Phantasm 2. That was a great one, but we're just going to mention these, because otherwise this was going even longer. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. They Live. We're going to kick ass and chew bubblegum, everyone. Friday the 13th Part 7. Night of the Demons, Oliver and Company, Scrooged, Ernest Saves Christmas. Go check out our Forgotten Christmas classic special on that one. And the Care Bears Nutcracker. Now that those are over, thanks for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Have a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.